Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Solana, taking a look at the most recent price action and where I think things are heading next here for the SOL token. Now as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and if you do tap the bell and select all the notifications, you will not miss another video update. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord though, you are missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out. Let's jump right down into today's video, kicking things off with the 1 hour time frame. So here we have Solana paired up with USDT and we're using Binance as our data source. Now as you can kind of see, we broke up here most recently, so that is yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then of course it was immediately followed by a massive move to the downside, massive liquidation event, and so if we take a look at this drop here, it was 15% in 2 hours, right? So basically, essentially just liquidating as many people as possible. This isn't uncommon. Bitcoin did the same thing. Ultimately, there's a lot of liquidity grabbing going on at the moment. So what we do have is a bit of a rebound back up here to a double top. A double top is bearish. So we'll kind of look into that as you will. If we take a look at here, we're just going to make sure we didn't pierce it. If we do pierce the top, then obviously that's good. But if we take a look here, we can see that this high was $48.88, and this one here was $48.87. So there was a 1 cent lower. So it didn't breach the line, it didn't break the existing high double top scenario, and obviously it's getting rejected back down there as well. So it's not looking overly strong at the moment. We're obviously just coming down from the overbought area on the hourly chart as well. It's not a cup and handle. I know there'll be people out there that will be looking for any reason to be bullish on the market. Let me show you if I can find the arc. That's the curve. The arc right here. So a lot of people will potentially look at this thing and say, oh, look, it's a cup and handle, right? They're going to have, that's your cup, and over here we're going to have a handle, right? And it's going to be, you know, massive movements. If it is a cup and handle, which I do not believe it is, then we would target out up here on that 1.618 fib scale at 54.20, right? However, the reason that it's not a cup and handle is that a cup and handle has to have a more gradual curvature to the base, which we don't see. It would have to be more like this. Instead, what you see here is a V-shaped bottom where you have a straight move down and a straight move back up like this. It's more of a V, and that does not make it a cup and handle. So it's not a cup and handle pattern. Put that to bed now. And you know, it is positive that you've rebounded this way, but you have found that double top situation, which is bearish. So just be a little bit cautious here. I think at the moment the market is very undecided. Is it going to continue pushing up? Is it going to start pulling back down? Ultimately here though, I think we are looking for probably a move back down, at least towards our 50 EMA and 50 SMA. That's the red and the yellow lines that are moving through here, possibly down towards the 200 EMA. If we were to look at this as completely flat continuation pattern, if that would be the case, then we would actually be trading between the lows and the highs, and would have a three-wave pattern, something to this effect, right, where we just kind of bounce between those 2 points, basically between $41.36 and $48.88, right? So if we were to kind of do that, that's kind of how you would look at it, in my opinion. So again, I would look at this thing and say to myself, we've moved straight down, we bounced up, and probably are going to be looking at coming back down again, looking for this continuation of sideways trading motion. Now, obviously, it's Friday today, so a slow weekend probably ahead, as we would normally typically kind of look at. Now, if I take the stochastics off, throw in the divergence indicator, nothing there. Let's sort of take a look at those volume profiles. Yeah, so volumes are, as we pushed back up, decreasing, right? We can see large volume came in to push price down. And then as soon as that kind of volume there kind of started, it kind of then just disappeared. There wasn't really any interest. Volume was actually decreasing as we pushed up. So we would argue that within this little moment just here, if I grab a hold of a trend line here, price pushed up, and whilst price was pushing up, volume was dropping down. Okay, so there is a difference here, and that tells us there's very limited strength to this movement to the upside, as indicated also in that stochastic RSI. So for the most part, on this hourly chart here for Solana, it's not looking overly strong right now. Let's take this out into the daily. The daily hit our target range, right? So a little while back, forget exactly when, some point in October, we're talking about a move up here towards $43.69 and $54.20. We obviously are slap bang inside the target range here. So again, Solana is hitting that upper three-wave structure now, and we will start thinking about moves to the downside. Now, it can still push up a little bit higher. We can see here we do have a slightly higher range towards 57.95 if it needed to. It still would be within its entire structure at that point. We are heading up towards the overbought area. We're not there yet, so again, we'll keep a close eye on that. We don't have to, of course. We can, of course, just continue this move down to the oversold range and kind of complete out the next kind of pattern. Now, this is a daily time frame, and I think there's a lot of comments on the YouTube videos that don't understand what we do here at Cheeky Crypto. They expect instantaneous results. Let's just be really clear right now. This daily chart is going to take weeks to play out, right? We're not talking about something that's going to happen, by the end of the day. So we are talking about weeks and weeks and weeks of work before we see this play out, right? For example, as we can kind of see here, just to complete the C wave structure, it took us a total of 2 months. It was 59 days, right? And let alone that's just the C wave structure there. The actual larger structure, which actually started all the way over here, took us a total amount of 152 days, right? So we know that these charts are going to take a long time to play out, and people don't want to necessarily believe what I'm saying in terms of we are going to be seeing a natural healthy correction, and there's many reasons for this. One, we obviously are hitting those upper limits, not just on Solana here, but on many other cryptocurrencies as well, and we are starting to see things up in the overbought ranges. When you're overbought like this, momentum is likely to shift to the downside. We're overbought on monthly timeframes, we're overbought on weekly timeframes, and we're almost overbought on daily timeframes. On some cryptocurrencies, we are overbought on the entire spectrum of timeframes. The momentum is going to be shifting down. Profits are going to be taken off the table, and there could be many different catalysts for this. One, greed is at its highest right now, and people generally want to sell into greed, right? You buy fear, sell greed. And so we are reaching these upper limits. It might take a little bit of time to see all these target ranges get hit out, but ultimately, we are looking at moving on down. Take this out to the weekly. You can see my weekly projections are looking very, very good. This is the bull market high points, right? However, we can't just continue to move on up without natural healthy corrections. Now, I am concerned over a few different things that are happening within our weekly time frame. We are looking for corrections down, and I'm looking at some interesting zones. I think ultimately we're likely to kind of pull back down towards our low range down here. I'm just going to pull this across between $14.32 and $15.55. Now, it seems crazy that that's a potential low point, but it is a previous area of resistance turned to support. Now, if we don't go that low and we look for somewhere else where we might try to find good support, there's a good range right here as well. I'll be looking at $18 to $20 there. I think there's some good opportunities here, but ultimately we are looking for corrections to the downside. Now, if we really wanted to be, bullish and just think of bullish things and nothing else, then we could, of course, just say, look, we'll just come down here towards the $26 to $28, right? But ultimately, I think we've got the super bearish moves. I think we've got the more realistic moves, which are in the middle, and then we've got the pure hopium that you'll find support at around $28. I don't think that's going to be the case, mind. So for the most part, we are looking like the bull market lows are in on Solana. I'm pretty confident on that for now, unless, of course, we have some really bearish situations unfold, which we could lose $8. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think ultimately we are looking for nice, healthy corrections to the downside. If we just go back to 2017, the most common retracement for Bitcoin was 40%. Just think about what that might do for altcoins, right? Now, in 2021, the most common was about 20% reductions and corrections, but it was a lot... how can I say, the bull market was more condensed than it was previously. And so lots of opportunities in 2017 for taking profits, right? You had surges to the upside, profit taken, surge up, profit taken, surge up, profit taken. In 2021, it was more of a straight line. You had very limited amount of opportunities to take profit and still buy back in. So I think we can't look at the previous bull market and assume that they're going to do exactly the same thing when we actually have two very different bull markets in terms of how they were operated or how people were participating within them, was more probably the better way of arguing it. Now, And we don't know if that's going to be a thing or not, but for the most part, I would expect us to see natural healthy corrections of a decent amount because you can't just continue to move to the upside. And considering how heavily overbought we are, that is of a major concern. So although I think we're in a bullish market here for Solana and the bottom is in, I do expect us to retest some of those existing lows before we continue our moves to the upside. And I do think we're going to see some really good numbers on Solana, right? We have a more conservative target range between $240 and $617, all the way up to a more optimistic, maybe hopium bullish, I don't know, however you want to look at it, $2,000 on Solana, right? And that would be the 1-to-1 ratio on the C wave pattern there. So for the most part, I think Solana is performing well. I do expect us to kind of see some pullbacks though. And I think that's a huge opportunity to buy back into Solana if you haven't done so already and all that kind of good stuff. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. What I can do is share you my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I personally see it. And obviously I express kind of my concerns for where we currently are at the moment. But let me know what your thoughts are on all of this down in the comments below. I'm going to leave the video right there. If you have found it useful, informative, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out. Link is in the description below. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.